Hello everyone, this is British Insider, your front row seat to the power struggles shaping the UK. I'm Johan. Stay with me for the latest political revelations.
You're not going to believe what just happened in London, a city that's long prided itself on being a symbol of safety, resilience, and unity has just been rocked by a 2-minute clip that set the entire political conversation on fire. It started quietly, with a video posted late on Thursday night. No flashy production, no media spin. Just raw footage showing Tommy Robinson in a tense exchange with law enforcement on the streets of central London. Crowds gathered, police officers lined up shoulder to shoulder, and Robinson's words cut through the noise like a blade. His pointed attacks on Mayor Sadiq Khan's leadership were impossible to ignore, and within hours the footage had gone viral. By Friday morning it was everywhere shared by influencers, politicians, journalists, and ordinary Londoners asking the same haunting question: what is happening to our city? And then something even bigger happened. Nigel Farage, one of Britain's most recognizable political figures, broke his silence, not with a carefully worded statement buried in social media, not with a vague gesture of support, but with a direct and damning response broadcast live on GB News. Farage looked straight into the camera and said, and I quote, "What we just saw isn't just about one man and one moment. It's about years of failed leadership. The state of London right now is not something to shrug off. It's a warning." That one sentence sent shockwaves through the political establishment, and that ignited a firestorm online, not because it was outrageous, but because it echoed what millions have been whispering under their breath. It wasn't about liking or disliking Tommy Robinson. It was about what his words and that footage symbolized for a city many feel is on the edge. Let's be real. Londoners have been living with growing unease for years. Rising knife crime, a surge in street unrest, soaring living costs, and a deepening distrust in political leadership have all been bubbling just below the surface. People see the news headlines, they experience the changes in their own neighborhoods, and they feel the tension in the air. For many, Robinson's controversial presence is less important than the fact that he's saying out loud what they're afraid to. And now Nigel Farage, a mainstream political heavyweight, has joined the chorus. When that happens, when opposition voices begin amplifying the same frustrations everyday people are feeling, you know the conversation has shifted. This isn't fringe noise anymore. This is political dynamite. Social media exploded in the hours that followed Farage's comments. One user wrote, "You don't have to like Robinson to admit London is falling apart. Watch the video and try denying it." Another tweet, already viewed over 500,000 times, said Farage, calling out Khan isn't politics, it's overdue. Even centrist voices, people who normally steer clear of these debates, began weighing in. A former Met police official, speaking anonymously to a local outlet, admitted this level of public unrest isn't about one incident. It's pressure that's been building for a long time. That's the part many in the political class seem to be missing. This wasn't just a video, and it wasn't just Robinson. It was the spark that revealed just how much frustration has been accumulating among London's residents. And make no mistake, the political implications are massive. Farage didn't just criticize Sadiq Khan. He effectively aligned himself, at least partially, with the sentiment Robinson was expressing. That alignment, even if unintentional, shifts the dynamic of the debate entirely. It forces Labour and Mayor Khan into a corner, challenging them to respond or risk letting the opposition own the narrative. And with local elections around the corner, that's a dangerous position to be in. If people feel like their concerns about safety and cultural cohesion are only being acknowledged by opposition voices, who do you think they'll listen to when it's time to vote? Behind the scenes, sources from City Hall report a sense of unease. Officially, there's been no direct response from Khan's office to either Robinson or Farage, but insiders admit the footage and its fallout have raised serious concerns about both the tone of public discourse and the state of enforcement on London's streets. It's a tough balancing act, addressing the growing fear and anger among residents without validating voices they consider divisive. Yet the longer the silence continues, the more ground the opposition gains in the battle for public trust. What's happening here is bigger than one viral video or one heated exchange. It's about the widening gap between political messaging and public emotion. On one side, official narratives emphasize progress, safety, and inclusivity. On the other, lived experiences tell a different story of rising violence, economic strain, and communities feeling left behind. When people no longer feel heard by those in power, they turn to whoever seems to be voicing their frustrations, regardless of whether they agree with everything that person stands for. That's why this moment matters so much. It's not just about Robinson or Farage, it's about who people feel truly represents them in a city that's changing faster than its leaders can keep up. And this isn't just a London issue. Across the UK, similar tensions are simmering. Urban centres grappling with rising crime rates, cultural divides, and strained public services are all looking for someone to step up and speak for them. Farage seizing this moment, amplifying a message already catching fire online, could mark the beginning of a larger political realignment. And for Labour, the stakes couldn't be higher. If they fail to address these fears head-on, they risk ceding the narrative entirely to opposition voices, further eroding trust at a time when they can least afford it. So where does this go from here? Does Sadiq Khan finally break his silence with more than a carefully crafted press release? Does Labour step in to reassure Londoners that their concerns are being heard, or do they continue to leave a vacuum for others to fill? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if this viral clip was just the spark, what's the fire that follows? Because if this is what a single video can do, imagine what happens when the next incident hits an already frustrated and divided city. One thing's certain, this story isn't over. In fact, it may only just be beginning. We're witnessing, in real time, a shift in the political conversation, a growing divide between official policy and public sentiment, and a battle over who gets to define the narrative for Britain's cities. If you're living in London, or anywhere else feeling the weight of these issues, your voice matters now more than ever. So let us know in the comments, do you think this viral moment is a turning point for London politics, or just another flare-up that will fade in a few days? Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth coverage, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our updates as this story develops. Because if what we've seen so far is just the beginning, what comes next could reshape Britain's political landscape in ways no one expects.